Welcome back to Lava Ridge Gym. Today we're going to be fighting more fans of Flannery's power. Yeah, I completely missed what that hiker said, including the naughty laugh afterwards. 392 degree heat, huh? Why is he saying this specifically? 392 degrees is, oh, he's got a Kecleon now? I'm gonna come back to the temperature deal later, because I just want to say that I am dying to know what kind of moves this Kecleon has, because we're in a fire gym. Kecleon is a normal type that can change into any other type. If it had survived that Psychic, it would have turned Psychic, for example. So, yeah, of course I'm not gonna know what kind of moves it has, but anyway, about that whole temperature thing, why first things first, why did he say 392 degree heat? But because, well, the deal is that 392 degrees in Fahrenheit is 200 degrees Celsius. Not one more, not one less, it's 200. Now, one thing I really would like to know about the Fahrenheit scale is, what the fuck was the guy thinking? I mean, the freezing point of water is 32, the boiling point is 212, and those are pretty freaking random numbers. And to top it all off, what is 0 Fahrenheit supposed to represent? 0 Celsius is the freezing point of water, 100 is the boiling point. What is 0 Fahrenheit for? This doesn't make any sense. Do you understand why every country short of the United States uses Celsius now? And even scientists in the United States use Celsius anyway. It's the International Convention, and only the United States still use Fahrenheit when it comes to casual use. But that's enough of that. Well, if you spend too much time buried in hot sand, it tuckers you out. There is also the little fact about, oh, I don't know, not being able to breathe! Well, I guess the lack of oxygen may be an excuse for how they battle so horribly, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to bring up was the fact that, well, the battle against Norman is coming up fast, and afterwards I'll be able to have rematches with trainers. Now, the deal with rematches is that I had trouble deciding how I was going to handle it in regards to this LP. Do I show everything? Do I only show a few? Do I show nothing? Because the deal is that rematch requests happen a lot more often in this game than they did in Crystal, so showing every rematch would simply make the thing drag on, and there would be lots of cuts, which I do not want to do. So I think the only realistic option is to show nothing, because if I were to show only a few, then which ones do I show? Do I just... And, you know, it's rather confusing to decide, so I decided against showing rematches to one particular exception. If a gym leader asks me for a rematch, then I will gladly record it, because it doesn't really happen that often in my experience. I think I fought Watson once and Brawley once in previous playthroughs, and that was it. And, oh yeah, now that goddamn Metatite is detecting, and it's not accomplishing anything by doing that. It's only stalling for time and wasting my PP. Well, I guess it's accomplishing something in that it wastes my Thunderbolt PP, but please, seriously, why did they have detect if they don't have a good reason to use it? Anyway, I believe that this gym, well, the maze in Emerald is a lot more complicated than it was in Ruby and Sapphire, so you really gotta use caution when navigating this place. Like this, for example. Where do I go? Which one do I pick? I think I'm gonna go for the middle one first. My gut tells me I gotta get there, and... Nope, no one there, and let's see if I can just continue. Oh, I think that's it! Yep! I'm at Flannery now! And somehow she's so close to the entrance, and yet I had to go through this freaking huge maze. And, yeah, now she's really indecisive when it comes to which attitude to adopt, which is, well, the whole reason for her character. And I should warn you that I'm not intent on letting her team live too long because I believe they all have Overheat. So let's get this show on the road, shall we? Holy crap! The gym leader is a talking, moving palm tree! Okay, that's enough joking around. Now it's time to begin the actual battle, and, well, we're starting out with a Nummel, which should go down rather easily to Psychic. I've beaten plenty of Nummels before. I think I've even beaten Camera, Maxie's Camera, in fact. And Slugma, yeah, another completely crappy Pokemon. This should be another one-hit KO. Yep, there we go. But I think her remaining two are Camerupt and Torkoal. Yep, Camerupt is going to be up first, and I'm sure her last one is going to be a Torkoal that's around level 30, so gotta be a bit more careful with those. And Psychic kills Camerupt in one shot! I am rather impressed because Camerupt isn't the most frail Pokemon out there. And Torkoal, let's see how it holds up against the Psychic. It's got a crazy physical defense, but it's not quite as bulky on the special side. And oh! It just barely survived, and Body Slam doesn't paralyze me, thankfully. And, well, a Hyper Potion. This was to be expected because Torkoal was in the red. So I'm going to use Psychic, and then another Psychic, and that should be all. What? Another Hyper Potion? I don't remember a trainer ever using two items on the same Pokemon. I don't recall it happening, well, in the last few years at least, but seriously, two Hyper Potions? It's been a while since I've seen that, if I've ever seen it. But that doesn't matter, it was just stalling for time, and now we've beaten Miss Palm Tree here. And yeah, I tried too hard to be someone I'm not. How about looking a little more human for once? And we are going to be getting, well, 2,900 bucks, but also the Heat Badge and an Overheat tier. And my Gardevoir did exactly what it was supposed to do. Overheat didn't show up at all, and if it did show up, it has the special defense to handle it, so I don't think it would have killed me anyway. So now we get TM50, which, as I said, is Overheat. And since the subject just came up on my channel's front page, I might remind everyone that the only cases where you want to use two moves of the same type on the same moveset is when either Overheat, Leaf Storm, and Draco Meteor are involved. You'll want to run them alongside Flamethrower, Energy Ball, and Dragon Pulse, for example. So, okay, this guy's got nothing more to say, no pervy comment or anything like that, and look who's here, it's May! And she doesn't want to battle, thankfully, even though I would have made her look like the team that plays against the Harlem Globetrotters if we fought now. Even though, well, she got that surprise kill thanks to a critical in the last battle, I didn't see that coming. And oh, I got the Go Goggles now, and those are going to help me go into the desert on Route 111. And she repeats what I just said like a parrot. And, well, yeah, the desert is going to be one of our next destinations. There are a few things I want to do before taking on the next gym. I'm going to go to Mount Chimney, but first, before going to Mount Chimney, there's a house that I completely forgot to check out, and I'm going to go to Mount Chimney, to the desert, the Trick House, then I gotta go to Rosborough to revive the fossil that I'm gonna get in the desert, and after that, I think I'll be all set to take on Norman in probably the hardest battle in the game, in my opinion. And, oh yeah, this guy wants to teach me Mimic, which is a move that sucks copious amounts of ass, so I'm not even going to bother. Seriously, Mimic. It's like, you know, if you want to mimic Flamethrower on a fire type that just used Flamethrower on you, well, what's the point? It's just... Oh, yeah, I forgot an item on the jumping ledges there. Well, good thing I'm heading to Mount Chimney. I'm just gonna have to remember to head back down through the jagged path so I can pick up the item once I come down. So, with that out of the way, it's time to end this video, and in the next one, we are going to take on a bunch of trainers in Mount Chimney. Most of them, as I recall, don't even use fire types, oddly enough.